Okay, welcome. Thank you guys all for joining us. And we're excited to share some of our stories with you today and how these oils and lifestyle changes have made a huge difference in our lives. I'm going to teach from some notes here, and I have an amazing group of women who, all women today, who are going to talk about their stories. But I'm going to just start with my personal story very quickly, is that I was, I would say, always open to natural remedies, but I had a very sick child, and that kind of put me in full gear really fast. And I had to do a lot of things to support this little baby. He was an infant when we had these problems. So for us, I was 0 to 60, as we say here in the US, pedal to the metal, really fast for him. We did a lot of dumping of things in our house to help him be well. And I will say that since all these lifestyle changes 6 years ago, we have been able to manage really everything for our health and our well-being without outside help, except for 2 broken bones, which we did need help with. Other than that, we were able to handle all the things that we encountered. So that's kind of our my story super quickly. But what I wanted to start off with is, why do we live this, what we call toxin-free lifestyle, is all the rage, that statement, toxin-free lifestyle. And it's because as you become more and more aware of the things that you expose your body to on a regular basis, you become more empowered to make better decisions. And I will say that we all started, I think almost everyone on this call started off with, store-bought products that we assumed were safe for us because they were sold in a store. But as you become more and more aware of the things that you bring into your home, the more and more changes you often want to make. So, sorry, I don't know why these messages are still popping in. I've shut everything down and it's still happening. Anyway, but sorry for the beep beeps. So the average home, the average woman, I should say, the average woman, because the fact of the matter is that women apply more products to their body than men. I mean, we wear the makeup, we have all the hair stuff, we have all the body and beauty products, right? So the average woman applies 130 unique toxic chemicals to her body before she even has breakfast in the morning. I want you to soak that in for just a second here. 130 unique toxic chemicals. So when we talk about some of these chemicals, some of the heavy hitters are things like sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a foaming agent, and it's linked to damaging your skin, disrupting your hormones, decreasing your immune health. And that's clearly not what we want right now, especially what's going on with the world. And we don't need foam to be clean. We just need lather. Phthalates, fragrances, are the other super heavy hitter, the worst of all, honestly, because the word fragrance is regulated by regulation boards across the world, that this is a proprietary trademark term, or parfum, you may also see it as. So parfum or fragrance, depending on where the product comes from. And that one word is basically a dumping ground for chemicals, because corporations are by law allowed to put up to 300 chemicals in that one word. However, that's not even regulated. So they don't even check to make sure there are only 300 chemicals. And of those chemicals, the most commonly used chemical to preserve synthetic smell is formaldehyde. So the fragrance itself is bad for you, but the preservation of that fragrance with formaldehyde is even worse for you. So these, I mean, if you guys look through your products, if you haven't started ditching your product set, you probably surprised how many products you have in your home with the word fragrance on it. So obviously perfumes, right? But what about your laundry soap, your laundry softener, your lotions, your hair products? Almost everything these days has some kind of synthetic fragrance in it. If it is not synthetic, it will say the plant name on it. It will not say parfum or fragrance. So this is linked to eye irritation, asthma, skin irritation, headaches, nausea, cancer, leukemia, reproductive issues. These are all the things that fragrance is linked to. And then there are lots of other chemicals out there. I'm going to mention one more. It's called triclosan, and that's what's found in all of your antibacterial products. So it's actually an antibiotic that's used to make it antibacterial. So your hand soaps, toothpaste, all these things that you see as antibacterial, that are labeled that way that has a chemical in it to make it antibacterial, which is a topical antibiotic. So it's linked to endocrine disruption, which is hormone problems, infertility, birth defects, and uncontrolled cell growth, which is cancer. So the fact of the matter is, we're not going to be depressing this whole call, but we're going to teach you how you can actually save money by getting rid of all these toxins, and how you can do it on a budget and make your house smell much better, and have a much cleaner home, actually, as well. So with that, let's see what's next here. Okay, I want to talk about, real quickly, bioaccumulation, which is really just a fancy term for the fact that as you use these products, they add up in your body, and it's called bioaccumulation. So as they bioaccumulate in your body, they bind to your cells, they get put into your liver, and that's why you have all these issues. So we're going to give you some tricks on how you can help clear your liver out during this class if you have been exposed to all these things. And then one more warning is that there's been a huge play in the marketing world of all these products to have a green line of products. So these same companies that make all these toxic cleaning products and beauty products, they are now coming out with these green products. It's called in the industry greenwashing, because it's now labeled as green and natural and pure. And these are literally marketing terms that have no teeth. Like, it literally means nothing, and there's no regulation on it. So just be aware that you have to read ingredients. I mean, it's kind of a bummer, but you have to have a little bit more patience in the store so you can really know what you're using in your home. Okay. There's a better way. We have no judgment. Almost all of us started there. We didn't all grow up on just coconut oil and white vinegar. We're going to give you some better solutions than that, by the way. So we started there, and it's just, for some people, this is a gradual process. And for some people, it's like once you know it, you just want to get rid of it. And so we're going to talk about all these things today, but just know you don't need these products to be beautiful. You don't need these products to be clean. And anything you put on your skin or breathe in should be safe to eat. Yes, literally. You should be able to cook with it or use it in like your mouth in some way if you're putting it on your skin, because your skin is your largest organ. And whatever you put on your skin has a direct path into your bloodstream. So, let's talk a little bit about why essential oils. So we talked about fragrance, right? That's to give it a smell. But our original fragrance was always plants. And in fact, our original perfumes were actually for medicinal benefits. They weren't even for the actual smell. People put together these perfumes based on how people needed to feel or wanted to feel. So what's really cool about using essential oils is that we have what we call health freedom. We have the things that we need on our countertops that are safe for our children to pick up and carry around and put in their mouth and pour on themselves, that will not cause all of these pages and pages of side effects like you see in all of your pharmacy packaging, right? We can get to the root of our health issues and not just mask symptoms, which is something that's really powerful. And something that's really important to note is that when patent law came into play, became a thing in the early 1900s, part of patent law is that you cannot, by law, patent nature, because nature was given by Mother Nature, God, a higher being, right? You as a company did not create that tree. That tree already existed in this world, right? So you cannot patent it. So before patent law, our medications in our world were always plants. And we've just seemed to kind of forgotten that. The thousands of years that we've used these plants to help heal or help our bodies heal themselves, which was really what we're doing. We're just helping our bodies to heal itself. So it's not that there's not a place for Western medicine. It's just that we may not need all these side effects, right? We may be able to use something that helps our body support itself better without the side effects and getting to the root. So an essential oil is the plant's natural defense. So it protects it from predators, from injury, and it works very similar in our body. And they're distilled from the trees, shrubs, herbs, grasses, resins, flowers, with pressure and steam. And then in the case of citrus oils, they're cold pressed from the rind of the citrus oils. And I make that distinction, one, because it's cool to know, and two, because citrus oils are the only oils that have actual proteins in them. So if you are allergic to lemon, you will be allergic to lemon oil because there are proteins in it. But all other oils don't have proteins in them. So you would have to be allergic to a chemical constituent, which is almost extremely rare, very extremely rare. So my son, when he was so sick, he could use these oils because he wasn't having reactions to things like food that had the proteins in them that we couldn't distill out. Tons of science around essential oils. If you are someone from a medical background, I encourage you to go look on pubmed.gov where all of the pharmaceutical studies are listed. And if you type in essential oils, or you type in a plant name, or you type in a chemical constituent that naturally occurs in a plant, you will find thousands upon thousands and thousands of peer-reviewed scientific articles on these plants. Because still today, most of our drugs are made as a copy of what Mother Nature gave us, which is pretty crazy. Okay, essential oils are super duper tiny from a chemical constituent standpoint, from a molecular standpoint, so they can actually penetrate inside of our cells and do things like digest viruses, which you're gonna hear some stories about today. That for me was mind-blowing when I first not only heard it, but saw it in action. So we're gonna tell you some stories about that today. And we're gonna also tell you how versatile these oils all are, because every single plant has at least 100 healing chemical constituents in it. So you can be using an oil for one thing, maybe just to smell good, and then do something else in your body, like balance your blood pressure or balance your hormones or make you feel happy, all these things. So it's really cool that you can use an oil for one thing and do all these other positive things for your body. So there are lots and lots of oils on the market today, and I'm gonna let Anna talk about the differences in oils on the market and then the differences in the oils that we're gonna talk about today.
Thanks, Ellie. Hi, everybody. Really nice to be chatting to all of you. So, yes, I want to go a little bit more into detail about actually how oils are made and what makes Young Living so extremely different and special. So let me just start maybe with what we normally would see in a health shop or in a pharmacy down the road. How those companies typically make it is that they will buy their plant matter from a broker. So, you know, normally if a farmer is going to sell his plant matter, he'll do anything he can to maximize his yield, and a lot of the time they use herbicides and pesticides to maximize it. And you can have an organic certification for something and still have up to 5% chemicals in their product, so it doesn't actually mean that something's completely chemical free. And then these companies buy the plants and then they pour a chemical on, which is very similar actually to antifreeze, which stresses the plant. So as that plant is stressing, it releases its essential oils, and that is how they take the oils out of the plants. And then they cook it at a very high temperature, which actually cooks the chemicals off again. And that is how the essential oil is derived. So these oils, they still smell quite nice, and they predominantly are just for aromatherapy and for just the natural fragrance industry, but a lot of the really good therapeutic property of the plant, obviously you can imagine, is damaged, and you could never ingest these oils, for example, because they've got all these chemicals in. But unfortunately, Ali spoke a little bit earlier about how labeling is not very strict. So these oils could still be labeled as organic, they could be labeled as 100% pure, and actually they can have a whole bunch of junk in them. And when you start smelling oils and you start comparing, you actually notice this. So what makes Young Living so completely unique is what's called the seed to seal guarantee. I just want to show you, because on everything that you buy from Young Living, you'll see the seed to seal guarantee. But this is something completely unique that Young Living does. And what it really means is that they control the process from sourcing the seed all the way to sealing the little bottle. So Young Living have farms around the world because, of course, to get a really true therapeutic grade oil, you need to be growing these plants in their natural habitat. You can't just randomly grow any plants in any climate. But Young Living either own their own farms or they work with partner farms. So they are very, very strict on managing the whole process. And if you look at what the extent of what they go to on the farms, for example, they can, if it's not virgin soil, because a lot of these are trees that are growing in forests where there's never been farming before. That's what we mean by virgin soil. But otherwise, if there has been other farming there before, they can take up to 8 years to prepare that soil before they actually start farming on it. So it's very, very specialized. And then too, how the seed is germinated, they germinate their own seeds. Even the source of the seed, for example, the lavender that Young Living grows is natural lavender. It's not the normal cloned lavender that you see. If you look at a lavender field and everything is very purple and all the plants are the same height, that's actually cloned lavender. It's not the same as naturally occurring lavender. So Young Living actually lets the seeds germinate naturally and sees what they do. I'm going a bit on a tangent about the farms, but it's so exciting when you really understand the detail that goes into what Young Living does. And then they plant them, and nothing is used on the farms other than nature. So it was very interesting for me. I had the privilege of visiting one of the lavender farms in Utah last year, and what I saw was they'll have, for example, 3 rows of lavender, and then they'll plant 2 rows of clary sage, because in nature, clary sage is a deterrent to the pest that would typically attack lavender. So they actually use nature like that. And if any weeding needs to be done, it's hand weeded. So it's a very laborious and intense process, but it means that you are really getting the best quality of plant. And then when it comes even to the harvest, the speciality that goes into the harvesting, they measure the frequency of the plant every single hour before and throughout the harvest, because if the frequency isn't optimal, you again don't get the best quality oil out. And if the frequencies become suboptimal, they'll actually pause the harvest for a few days until the plant is at its best again, and then continue. And then when it gets to the making the oil, it's a process of steam distillation, as Ali explained. So we also went into the distillery, and it was amazing to see there's no scientist that is trying to force out, this is the yield we need to get today. It's just what the plants produce, they produce. They literally just throw them in a massive steel pot and steam them. The exception, of course, then being the citrus fruits that are cold pressed from the rind. And then from there, everything goes back to the labs, which are based in Utah. And it is very, very, there's a lot of detailed testing that then goes on to make sure that that plant has not been contaminated with any other plant matter, not contaminated with anything that could have been exposed to in terms of pesticides, herbicides, or any other chemicals, and also checking that there's a proper content of all the compounds that should be in that plant, because something like lavender has got over 200 compounds. And it's very important that when you are creating these oils, you are protecting all those compounds into the finished product, because if they aren't all there, the plant is not going to have all its natural properties that it should have. And they do also do a lot of third-party testing. But if you look at the test that Young Living have developed, because Young Living is such an old and established company, their tests are far more specialized than the industry standards. But I mentioned the industry standard test too, so that you know that there's also third-party testing that is done. And then only are these oils labeled and sent out to all of us around the world. So it really is something that's very, very special. And I don't want to take a lot of time talking about this, because there are a lot of people that have some amazing experiences to share with us tonight. But I just quickly want to tell you a brief history of Young Living as a company, because it was fascinating for me to actually just understand where the company comes from. It was started by a man called Gary Young, hence the name. And he, as a young man of 24, he was a farmer, and he lived on his horse and in the mountains, and he was paralyzed, and he had been told he'll never walk again. And he actually tried to kill himself through starvation. And after 253 days of starving himself, he started being able to move his toe. And he started to think, maybe there's something outside of Western medicine that can help me. And his journey started at nutrition and the role of good nutrition. And then he started looking at herbs, and eventually was introduced to essential oils and started to see that there was actually this massive benefit. And he just spent his entire life relearning what's been lost to modern society. Because as Ali mentioned, plants have been our medicines forever, for centuries. And it was lost by modern man as we started to patent things and change things. And I'm very, very grateful when I look at what we have available to us from Young Living, because it's really one person's entire life's work and passion. And journey to heal his own body, which was the founding base of where Young Living has come from. And I'm very, very grateful every day that we get to pick the fruits of one man's life's work. So I'm going to move on to Claudine, because she's going to explain to you a little bit about the ways we can use the oils, and she'll also say this to you, but she's going to be specifically talking about the Young Living oils, because now that you understand the detail that goes into the process of making them, you can understand why we can use them in so many different ways. So Claudine, over to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Anna. Hi, everyone. So the first way to use the essential oils is by ingesting them. Now, as Anna said, I'm only talking about Young Living oils. I will not put any other oil in or on my body. So our oils are actually 100% pure. There are no synthetics in them, so they are most definitely safe to ingest. You can either put them in a veggie capsule. I make a veggie capsule every morning with a few different oils, and they work perfectly. What I would suggest with the veggie capsule, though, if you are afraid of burping up the oil and tasting it the whole time, to just put a drop of coconut oil in. It works amazing. And you can also actually put a few drops in your tea. We have an amazing thieves tea with just rebels tea and thieves, and it tastes so good. Examples of these oils that you can ingest are like lemon, grapefruit, citrus fresh. They are so fresh smelling and great for detox. So that's absolutely amazing. Another way that you can ingest them is actually what we call a honey sandwich. So if you have a teaspoon, put a little bit of honey, a few drops of the oil, honey again, and ingest that. That is like an easier way if you don't want to like fully taste the oils. The second way that you can use essential oils is by using them topically. So you can put them wherever you have discomfort. Your skin is actually your largest organ, so it is amazing because the oils are so rapidly absorbed, because within 30 seconds the oils are into your bloodstream, and in 30 minutes they are into every single blood cell in your body. So that is like fast moving medicine. Another way that you can apply them is to apply on your VitaFlex points. That's also known as reflexology. And we have over 2,000 pores on our feet, and they are some of the largest pores on our body. So you can also put the oils at the bottom of your feet, like sleepy oils or oils that don't smell very good, so the smell doesn't reach your nose when it's all the way down there. There are two places where you should not put the essential oils, and that is in your ears and in your eyes. You can put them around your eyes and around your ears, but definitely not in them. Then we have oils called hot oils. So when you put them on your skin, they do feel hot. So what I would suggest is just putting, if that does happen to you, like peppermint in the eye, use coconut oil or even milk to wash it down. The third way that you can use essential oils is actually by inhalation. So you can either just open up the bottle and smell directly from the bottle, or what you can do is what we call a scent tent. You can put a few drops in your hands, rub your hands together and cup it over your mouth and nose. That is the fastest way to your mood center. So like that is the quickest way to change your mood, is by using a scent tent. Then the last way that you can use essential oils is by diffusing it. So there is actually a diffuser that comes in your starter kit. So the ultrasonic diffuser actually disperses the tiny molecules in the air, and that not only absorbs onto your skin, but also when you breathe it in, it works great. It's diffusing is actually like, can I say, the best for children if they don't want to like, take the oils internally. And not only does it smell good, but it has absolutely amazing effect on you. I just feel like with diffusing, why would you like want to burn a candle if you can use the diffuser? And not only does it smell amazing, but like I said, it has amazing benefits when diffusing. Thank you, Ali. I'm going to hand back to you.
Thank you so much, Claudine and Anna. So Young Living has started off as a supplement and essential oils company and has over the years truly become a lifestyle company out of pure demand from its members. It's like, give us this, give us that. So we have in the US over 700 different products, and that is growing in every country around the world. And so what Young Living has done is try to simplify the journey for people in curating very highly discounted starter kits by the country. So I think if you can comment here in the comments, but I think we have US, we have South Africa, and we have Europeans on this call. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to the oils that come in each of these starter kits around the world, but also know there are other ways to get started all over the world based on where you are. So you don't have to get a full kit, but that is always the best value because it's so greatly discounted. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Allison Sharp to talk about our favorite lavender.
Hi, thank you. Well, lavender is absolutely one of my favorites. You know, at first it was interesting. When I first smelled it, it wasn't my favorite, but over time I've just fallen in love with it. It's actually the most used oil today. And it's been used for, I don't know, some 3,000 years. In fact, when they opened, interesting, when they opened the Egyptian, when they opened King Tut's tomb in I think it was 1923, they could smell the fragrance of lavender after 3,000 years. So it's been used quite a long time. It's really a powerful antioxidant, antimicrobial. It's a sedative. It is calming. It's also a natural antihistamine. So many uses. Ali was talking about the different chemical constituents and how much so many of these oils can be used so much. This is the one that is just your kind of utility knife of oils. So how do I use it? The first thing I did, this was kind of my aha moment when I started using oils. I had a curling iron burn right here on my forehead. I've done this before. And usually what happens, it's very bad. It burns, it blisters up, gets full, it burns for days and days, then it peels off. It's just a big deal. So the first thing I did, I got my kit out. I thought, oh, I remembered the lavender. So I put just straight lavender on my burn. I did that about every 2 to 3 hours because it took away the sting totally. But I just kept, when it would kind of start coming back, I would put it back on. And the next day, it never blistered up. It was still red. It was like the red was a little bit. I never got the blistering skin, the scab, that whole process I went to. So that for me was just, okay, I love this one, right? So anyway, lavender is great for any kind of burns. And again, you can put it on straight on the burn. I also, what I do, I have two, and I buy these, Young Living has them. You can buy a packet of 10 of these roller balls on Young Living. And so the oils that I like to rub on direct, instead of buying another roller ball and mixing, I just put a roller ball right on it. So if I get a burn, a cut, if we're outside, we have bad fire ants here in Texas. You get ant bit, you get bit by mosquitoes, anything. I just take this and I have the roller ball, and then I just roll it on the spot. Great for kids, for people. It's very safe, and it is just amazing, used for everything. The other thing I use it for is I make a pillow spray. So you get one of these little bottles. I put about 20 drops of lavender in it. I put a third of witch hazel, because when you put witch hazel, well, first let me say witch hazel and then water. Shake it up, and it's great for your pillow because remember, lavender is very calming, and you can put it on your pillow. Witch hazel evaporates, so you don't have a wet pillow for a while. You can spray it on, and in 5 minutes, I go to bed, and it's just incredible. So it's great for kids that need some little bit of help calming down, and so it's great for that. And then the other thing, I think it's really critical because, as I mentioned, it's an antihistamine. So allergy season, lavender can be your best friend. When it's partnered with a lemon and peppermint, the three of them together, you can make equal parts of each. You can put it in a roller ball. You can put it in a honey, take a spoon and as she mentioned, a honey sandwich. When it's mixed with those two, it's amazing for allergies with its antihistamine properties. So lavender definitely is up on my favorite list now.
Okay, amazing. I'm up next, for citrus oil. So my name is Bianca, and I am going to talk to you about lemon, orange, and citrus fresh. Firstly, up we have lemon, and this comes in the US kit and the South African kit. It is fantastic to detoxify your body. As Ali mentioned, chemicals and toxins have built up in your body, so you would love to detox your liver, and that's where lemon comes in. So you can use this in your water, in a smoothie, or in your Ningxia Red in the morning. And I also use lemon to clean my microwave, guys. I pop a few drops of lemon into a cup of water. I put my microwave on 3 minutes. And after that, I just wait a little bit and I just wipe it out. It's amazing how shiny it comes out afterwards. I've also soaked my white bedding in some overnight in some Castile soaps with some lemon drops. And the next morning, I just washed it in my washing machine. And it's just amazing how white it comes out. It looks brand new. You can also use lemon oil in your night serum. And it would help with these very fine lines on the side of your eyes. Then with orange oil, that comes only in the South African kit. This is the oil that I will diffuse when I have a really hectic day. When I feel like I just have a lot on my plate and I feel very overwhelmed, this is the oil that I pop into my diffuser. And you can also apply it to your belly area if you'd like. Just remember that citrus oils are photosensitive. So you can't apply it to your skin and go out into the sun because you can burn really badly then. So just apply it underneath the clothing area if you do apply it during the daylight. You can also add a drop of orange oil to your toothbrush and your toothpaste. If you do not have the amazing Thieves whitening toothpaste yet, then this is a great way of whitening your tooth. And then Citrus Fresh, you can see I still have the Vitality label from the US. Citrus Fresh just comes in the US starter kit. And this is amazing if you add it to your herbal tea with some honey as well. And for extra yumminess, we will get to the Thieves later, but add a drop of Thieves to your tea as well. And you can make a very great sugar scrub for your bath time with Citrus Fresh, which will be so uplifting. Remember, when you also use your citrus oils, to use it in a glass container or an aluminium container, as it will eat away at plastic. So that is a precaution along with photosensitive. That is it. And next up, I am going to give it over to Asanda, who is going to talk to us about peppermint.
Yay! Thanks, Bianca. Oh, peppermint, my favorite. One of. Peppermint, I use it for so many things. Honestly, the easier question would be, what do I not use it for? But my biggest use for peppermint is for pain management in different ways, in all sorts of ways. I remember when I first got the oils, I knew that peppermint was good for headaches. So anyway, my mom told me, hey, I have a headache. I was like, before you pick up a pill, can I try this? So I made her some peppermint oil. No, peppermint tea, just rooibos. Actually, just made a rooibos and just put a drop or two of peppermint in her tea, which I've since discovered 2 drops is way more than enough. Just one will do the trick because it's a hot oil and it's quite strong. That even when you get near the tea, you literally need to close your eyes and step back a bit because you get this whiff of peppermint. It's so strong, and which works really well for my mother because she believes in medication that is severe. If it's not severe to her, it doesn't work. So it works perfectly for her. So anyway, she had the tea, and then you know what, I had even forgotten to ask how is she feeling. bothered to let me know that, hey, I'm still bothered by the headache. So eventually I asked, hey, the headache. She's like, oh my goodness, that was gone before I finished the tea, you know? And I was like, oh, and as a newbie, then very fresh into oils, I was like, wow, this stuff is really working. Almost freaking me out because, you know, I'm so used to pharmaceuticals. And what I really loved also, I love it for sore throats. Gosh, I do. So this experiment I did on my mom again, nice and severe. She had a sore throat. So I just used a drop of peppermint in a shot of Ningxia Red. Bank that name. Ningxia is magic as well. And with thieves, which also helps with immune boosting. And I only did that with her because I wasn't about to dare ingest peppermint in a not so diluted form, because it's more diluted in tea. I'm willing to risk it then. So she had that, and a few minutes later she was like, wow, my throat is so much better. And other uses, I've used it for nausea before. Just last week, I went to the dentist to have her wisdoms pulled out, and she came back very nauseous from all the blood in her mouth, and I just put some on her temples, which is what I often do for headaches, and the nausea was gone. And we did quite a bit of driving around, so I was quite worried that, okay, it's gonna come back. She's like, no, relax, I'm fine, carry on, it's fine. And other things we've used it, oh gosh, how can I forget? I've used it. My mom and my husband suffer from carpal tunnel and osteoarthritis, and they've loved it for their pain management. I've mixed it with other oils, with coconut oil, just so that it can rub over larger surface areas, and it lasts longer that way, to be honest, than applying it neat. And they love it. And so pain management all the way. I've heard of other uses for this. I haven't tried yet, but I've heard it's amazing for constipation without even ingesting it, just by putting it in the toilet bowl, and especially children, because they're the ones aren't bothered to go and poop, and then by the time they have to, it's too hard and they can't get it out. Drops in the toilet bowl and they sit there for a while. Apparently it stimulates muscles to let stuff free. So yeah, that's me and peppermint. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Astanda. Hi guys, my name is Alicia. I have 3 on my list today, so let me quickly show them to you guys. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, great. So I am doing purification and citronella, and then also the amazing, oh, wait, there we go, the amazing frankincense. And I have a little helper to help me tonight. Oh, great. So this is our rescue baby. I don't know if she's going to sit still. This is our rescue baby. Her name is Lilo, and actually is what inspired me. Well, she's part of my story for tonight about what inspired me to sign up with essential oils and start this amazing journey. So I can give her back. So firstly, I'm going to start off with frankincense. Frankincense is an amazing oil. The first thing you do when you hear about it is you think biblical times. Like we all know the story about the 3 wise men and frankincense being one of the treasures that was given. So frankincense has been around for many, many, many years. My journey with frankincense started when my enroller tested for a dog bite. So my dog, I just showed to you guys, she actually bit me on my lip. Like I was with all the dogs outside, and out of nowhere she came running up and she grabbed me on my lip. and she bit me so badly that you could literally see the nerves inside my lip. So it was terrible. It was really painful, very swollen. I actually sent my enroller pictures, and she's, oh my goodness, I think you might need to go to the hospital for stitches. And I just started using frankincense because my medical aid couldn't afford for me to go to the hospital. And within 3 weeks, it was completely gone. Like, I still have a bit of a scar that I'm treating, but other than that, like, there's no evidence that she even bit me at all. So amazing, amazing, amazing for healing properties. Which brings me to my next one, purification. So I have it here with me. It's called my nighttime magic cream. So I actually have my frankincense and my purification in a cream that I made myself from the white cloth I had. So I made it myself with these two oils because the frankincense is amazing for skin healing properties. It's great for wrinkles. It's great for scars. And then purification is also great for skin, and it has an amazing, like, soothing, clean, fresh property. So I love that. I love when I get out of the shower, wash my face, do my toner, and then put on the cream, and I feel fresh and ready for bed. So it's an amazing, amazing oil. Let me just check my notes. I thought I have something else to say about purification. Oh yeah, sorry, the other thing I use it for. So purification I've actually used in my trash can. So sometimes, like, we had a problem where the last 2 weeks, our trash bags weren't picked up by the municipal service, and so it was kind of getting to a point where you could smell it. So I've been doing what I do is a little baggie with a bicarbonate soda in there, and then a few droplets of purification, and I throw it in the dustbin, and no more odor. So it's amazing for neutralizing bad odors. Definitely must. And then the last one I have for tonight is citronella. So citronella is something that I use today as well. So all three I've actually used today already. Before we started with the Endoflex challenge, and before I knew about the Endoflex and it was available in South Africa, I actually used the citronella one for menstrual cramps. So it's great for periods if you have a bit of cramping. I would literally just take a roller and then roll it on, like, my ovaries, and within a few minutes I could feel it working, which is amazing. So this was one of the first I tried with oils. Was I had really severe cramps, and I googled what essential oil I could use for it, and I tried it out, and it really worked. And then another thing that I actually used it for today was dogs. They had their bi-weekly bathe, and so I throw a bit of essential oil in their shampoo and I bathe them. It's great for them. It's a natural, like, it soothes skin irritation, so it's great for them if they have sensitive skins or, you know, scratchy or itchiness. It's also insect repellent. That's, I think, one of the most common. Usually when you think citronella, you think insects. So it's great for insect repelling. So I use it for that purpose as well, for ticks and fleas. And then it also has a calming property to it. So it kind of makes it easier to bathe them, especially our two puppies, because they can be really, like, difficult to handle. So the citronella kind of just calms them down a bit, which makes it easier for me to get them clean and ready to go again. So that's my story. And then I'm handing over to Janet.
Thank you, Nisha. My name is Janet, and I'm going to be speaking to you about thieves. This is the bottle of oil you'll find in your starter kit, and in my opinion, is the most powerful blend. In fact, it's the signature range for Young Living, and they have produced from that oil the Thieves washing powder.
Sorry, that was my fault. Please unmute again. Sorry.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. I must apologize. I'm on my husband's phone. He's got a far better camera. So shall I just quickly start again? My name is Janet. I'm on my husband's phone, so my name's not Warren, but I wish it was sometimes, I promise you. And I'm speaking about Thieves tonight. Thieves is one of my most favorite blends. It's one of the most powerful blends. It is really the signature range, as I said earlier, of Young Living, and it's what they base their range for all kinds of cleaning. So whether it's cleaning your kitchen, dilution, whatever, but I'm going to speak about the one in the starter kit tonight. Now this is a blend of 5 different oils, which is clove and lemon, cinnamon bark, and eucalyptus, as well as rosemary. And this is one of the most fantastic blends. In fact, it's based on research from the 15th century where the grave robbers during an epidemic had robbed the graves, and they had managed to rob from the dead and the dying and managed to stay alive. And the king caught them, and when they were apprehended, they were asked, you know, in exchange for your recipe, how did you manage to get past this plague? They had to give up their recipe, and that was the botanicals and the spices and the herbs that they had impregnated into their mask, which they had put over their face. And that is what the Thieves is based on today. It is a most astounding combination of oils. The combination is most powerful in it being antifungal, antiviral, anti-infectious, and antiseptic, and it supports the immune system. It's purifying, and it's also cleansing. And I personally take it every day, 2 drops under the tongue, and I love it. It's got a very spicy tone to it. Many people I know like it in their tea, and I frequently do that, especially the change of season. It really protects you, as I say, to boost your immune system. So Thieves is definitely a must. It's one of those oils that you can't do without, but most importantly, especially in our current global climate, we have experienced that there have been members who have had the benefit of being supported in recovering from COVID. And I can't really speak for anybody else, but I'm hoping she'll be on the call this evening. She can perhaps post her recipe, and I tell you no lie, I have personally been witness to her experience having suffered from this disease. And she said to me, Janet, I never wanted to be famous for this, but you know, one man's poison is another man's bread. So really, she is a legend in my opinion, and her name is Bronwyn, and I hope she's on the call. Please say hi, Bronwyn, if you are here. And there we go, thank you. Oh, Lauren, thank you. Hi, Lauren. But I can ask if Annie wouldn't mind just posting that recipe on there. It was an absolute support for her, and I thank you for the opportunity. And I'd like to introduce you to Deb, who will be speaking to you about Peace and Calming, another stunning blend, as well as Stress Away, which in South Africa is known as Wild Haven. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jan. Hi, everybody. My name is Deb, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm always happy to be on these calls. I absolutely love them. I've been using Young Living since 2004, and my story is really cute and quick. This is my absolute baby. It's Peace and Calming, and I believe it's in the European kit as well. Ali, am I right? I could be wrong. It's in the European kit as well as the American kit. But anyway, it's whatever you do, just get it. That's all I'm telling you. Whatever you do, just get it. I'm not going to tell you what's in it. I'm just going to tell you, just get it. If you need to be calm, if you need your children to sleep, if you need to calm the heck down, and you just need to chill out, if you do meditation, I do meditation every day of my life, and this has been my go-to. My quick story about Peace and Calming is I used it when my little girl, she's 18 right now, was 2. I was introduced in 2004, so she was 2 years old, and I used to put it in her room in the diffuser, in the little funny little old diffuser that Young Living used to have. So we put it in the diffuser just before bath time, and I used to close her room. Then I used to put some in Epsom salts in her bath, go into it, have the bath with her or whatever, just bath her, so the whole place just smells of this peace and calming, and of course mom's singing lullabies, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Back into the room, nice and warm. I learned something from my Chinese doctor. Never, ever, ever, ever go to bed with cold feet. Always warm feet. He used to always tell me, warm feet. Those mamas, always make sure your children have warm feet. So I used to put the Peace and Calming under her feet and put little socks on and snuggle bunny with her into her bed. Fast asleep for years, from the age of 2 till she was 9. Then we moved back to South Africa. And I didn't have any of my oils. I had Peace and Calming, but when they ran out, they ran out. That was it. I couldn't get them. Fast forward to 2018, and I got Peace and Calming. And I got her a diffuser, and she went to school, and I put it in her room for her, and I closed the door, and I thought, I'm just going to see what happens when she comes home from school. Opens up the door, and she looks at me, she goes, "You're joking, right?" I said, "No, I'm not." She goes, "I can't believe we got this." So it's a memory thing, which is also why you need to be consistent with this. Oils are not a quick fix. They are not a quick fix. It's a memory thing. Your bodies get used to it. They take their time getting used to it. I've been wearing Valor since 2007. People know me by Valor. It's ridiculous. So peace and calming is absolutely beautiful for anything. If you want to calm down, just use peace and calming. Let's go to stress away, because I know we're timing. And stress away. Stress away is also another beautiful blend. And in South Africa, it's called YL Haven. And it's like walking into a haven, your own little haven. It's a beautiful name for this oil, actually. And it is exactly what it says it is. It is a stress away. I used this when my dad passed away. I used it all the time. I'm the youngest of 3 girls, and it's customary at parents, they have prayers. I'm Jewish, and so we have prayers, and so it's customary for one of the children to speak. And nobody expected me to talk. No one. In my entire family, they're like, no, Debbie's definitely not going to talk. Oh, trust me. I spoke all about my dad. They didn't expect it. It was just ridiculous. So stress away and peace and calming are pretty much your go-tos. But stress away for me recently has been incredible, because not only in lockdown did I go into lockdown, I'm also going through a divorce. So I went into lockdown with my daughter and going through a divorce, and I gave up alcohol completely, gone, nothing, and caffeine. Trust me, this is my best friend today. It is my best friend. Also, just if you guys, honestly, you have to take your time with the oils. Take time with the oils. This is not a quick fix. Be patient and just love them. And also breathe out. When you breathe, just before you take that breath in, before you actually do this, just do this. Just breathe out so that you fill your lungs up and it goes directly in. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Love you guys. Over to, oh my gosh. Oh, to Kimmy. There you go, Kimmy.
Thank you, beautiful Deb. Right, I'm going to be talking about Eucalyptus radiata, RC, and Raven, who are all related parts of the family. So Eucalyptus radiata is a must-have all year round, because in spring and summer we have these very high pollen counts, and in autumn and winter we have colds and flu and stuffy noses, and this helps brilliantly with opening up our airways. It is the gentlest eucalyptus oil that Young Living make. There are 4 in the range in total, and this is perfect for using on your young kiddos. So it has a variety of superpowers, but of course it's most well known for popping on maybe your PJs just to sleep at night and keeping your airways open, or to stop your kids from waking at night with those stuffed noses. You can add it to your lavender and cedarwood sleep combo to keep the airways open all night with your diffuser blend. Add a few drops to your shower floor in the morning to awaken the sinuses. You can make a gorgeous vapor rub with eucalyptus radiata and peppermint in some coconut oil to rub on your chest and back. For what I call the school happy head treatment, you can combine it with tea tree or purification and some coconut oil and massage it into your little kiddo's head. So when it's that last season, dreadful. Rub your muscles down after a hard workout. But for me, the most little known use for this oil is that it's wonderful for those struggling with grief, because grief is buried deep in your chest, and this oil somehow just helps that to surface and resolve. And there are so many unbelievable emotional uses for these oils that people don't really realize. So Raven is a powerful blend of Ravensara, lemon, wintergreen, peppermint, and eucalyptus radiata. So you can already feel that gorgeous warm feeling when you've got that tight chest. It's amazing for TB, influenza, pneumonia, those deep chest ailments. It's highly antiviral and antiseptic, and combined with copaiba, asthmatics swear by this oil. Raven and copaiba if you struggle with asthma, that's all I can say. And then also in this family is RC, another blend of spruce, cypress, and 3 different kinds of eucalyptus. It has a really robust scent that will perk you up. You can rub it on your chest, neck, back, and it will help you with deeper breathing. You rub it on your sinuses. You can just use it to open up your breathing before you exercise. It's amazing. You know, the best thing about these 3 oils actually is that I haven't had to use them, because since I started using Young Living, I don't get chronic sinus infections anymore. And that's what I used to suffer from. But the last time I used one of these oils was in November last year, when I landed from sunny, warm Johannesburg into snowing New York City. And I ended up walking 30 minutes through a snowstorm, and I diffused RC all night long. And I woke up feeling 100% perfect the next morning. And I was convinced my holiday was off to a really poor start. So I'd like to hand over to Becky, who's going to discuss that gorgeous knight in purple armor, Valor.
Hi, everybody. I think I've got one of the best. We all think we have the best, but today I got to do Valor, and Valor is one of the most empowering oils that we have. It is an oil that deals with emotional balance in our bodies, and it empowers us with strength and courage and protection. It is the beautiful color of the label here. It's got the frankincense and rosewood, the blue tansy and spruce essential oils, the wood essential oils that are all so wonderful for emotional grounding and balance. Gary Young named this blend Valor because the oils in it were used in ancient times by Roman soldiers to bathe in before going into battle, because it empowered them. It gave them strength and courage. And one of the first things that we ever heard about Valor was to use it for courage and for confidence in public speaking, or in school, or even animals or children, to help with emotions or disagreements or things like that. It's so grounding and it's so beautiful. A couple of things that it's really well known for. It can help support seizure issues. Excuse me. It actually can help with snoring. A drop of Valor on the base of the big toe on yours or your husband's, either one, is good for snoring at night. Bedwetting, it is can be used for bedwetting. Putting it on either the feet or the spine of a child for bedwetting at night at bedtime can help with stopping that problem. It has been reported to be used a lot for developmental delays. As with all the oils, they can be used while a child or someone is studying, not just a child, but if someone is studying for a test, you can use any of the oils, but especially Valor is one that is used for memory recall. But developmental delays, it also helps with children with that in school. Scoliosis, it has been used to help straighten the spine. I was reading a story, an article, an abstract about how one young lady went from a 19% to a 7% in her scoliosis percentage, which is amazing. It's used for cardiovascular support. It can take the heart out of AFib, and used for circulation and all types of circulatory. I had a personal story with a friend who came to me at church one day, and she said, "The room is spinning. What's going on? I don't know what's wrong with me." And we had just gotten the Valor, and I said, I looked on my app and it said for vertigo, Valor. And so I said, I happen to have Valor in my purse. Let's try it. And she put a drop behind both of her ears. She didn't even know what essential oils were. I had to give her a very quick tutorial in what I was about to slather on her. She came running back over to me in about 5 minutes, and she goes, I'm fine. It stopped. And so I gave her some of my Valor. And every time that it started up a little bit again over the next few weeks, she just put a little drop of Valor behind her ears and it would stop until it doesn't do that anymore. So it's a very important oil. It's one of our best in the arsenal. Well, they're all the best. I can't say that Valor's the best, but we're also jealous. We're also happy to have Valor in our arsenal. It is one of the most important oils in the raindrop technique that is used in the raindrop technique, which is a massage using essential oils. We can help people know more about that if you're interested. But now I'm going to ship it over to Sam to talk about DiGize.
Thank you, Becky. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam. And this little bottle of oil was our introduction to Young Living essential oils. Thank you to our wonderful Ali Raskin. Aurora Rose, who you've seen kind of hanging about over here, who should be sleeping, was diagnosed with a horrible stomach bacteria or gut bacteria called C. diff in May last year. And we were in and out of hospital. It was not a nice time for us. And Ali happened to be in the car with me when the gastroenterologist phoned to tell us that we needed to try a second round of antibiotics. So C. diff is a bacteria that's normally caused by being on an antibiotic. And there are 2 antibiotics in South Africa that can possibly kill it. If the antibiotics don't kill it, they talk about the possibility of having a fecal transplant, which sounds as bad as what it is. It's basically taking the stool sample of a healthy, hopefully relative, because it has been known to change your DNA. There have been cases where it's changed people's DNA, and inserting it into the gut of the unhealthy person. So we really didn't want to go that route. And Ali was our knight in shining oils. And she said, Sam, would you be prepared to try these essential oils? And I said, absolutely. So that was the Friday. I collected some oils from Ali on the Sunday. And the combination was DiGize, frankincense, and oregano. We literally started that Sunday night. And 3 weeks later, we did it every single day, every morning and every night. 3 weeks later, we had another stool sample done, and the gastroenterologist was happy enough for her not to go on another round of antibiotics. So the C. diff wasn't gone, but the levels were so low that she was happy for us to just continue with what we were doing. But obviously, as a mom, you always have in the back of your head the worry of what if it comes back. So in December last year, she had a bit of an iffy tummy, so I took her off for scans of her abdomen and stool samples, and we were absolutely blown away to get the results back. And the C. diff was 100% gone, not even 1% C. diff. It was completely gone. And literally all we did was use these essential oils. She wasn't on a probiotic. She wasn't on anything else. So there's nothing else that I can give the credit to other than that combination of oils. DiGize that's an amazing story. I love that story, and it's why I love Young Living. It's also amazing for anything, any issues with your digestive system. So upset tummy, bloating, candida. It's a wonderful oil, and it's also great for calming. So occasionally we switch up our nighttime routine and put a few drops of DiGize in the diffuser, and it's really great for calming kids as well. So thank you so much, and I'm going to hand over to Jackie.
I think it's actually me next. Citronella and purification was covered. No worries. Okay, so I'm going to quickly take you through pain oils. So Panaway and Copaiba. They aren't in the SA starter kit, but they're like in my top 5 for things to get outside of the kit. Panaway is what got me started, and I'll just tell you, these 2 are great for any kind of pain, anything. whether it's inflammation or injuries, they really work particularly well on application. So if you have anything inflammatory, like try copaiba. It's really great taken directly under the tongue. You can combine this with frankincense and lemongrass to make what they call a morphine bomb, which is very effective. I have tried that. And then with Panaway, just applying this on any soreness, whether it's sore muscles, an injury. I've actually used this for chronic whiplash syndrome for myself. Really effective. I still use it now. And then when my son, he actually fractured his arm, a slight fracture and dislocation in his elbow. And it's like he falls a lot, but he doesn't cry. So that day we knew something was up because he wouldn't stop crying. And he had come back. My husband brought him home from gymnastics, and I literally opened this and I pulled the top off and I poured it onto his arm because he couldn't even get a word out. And in minutes, I mean, by the time I was sitting in the car with him on the way to the emergency room, he was fine and he could speak, and he was calm enough at the doctor's room to give the doctor sass as well. So it's really, really effective and fast acting, I feel. I've also used these for like any issues with the mouth. So with my son losing his teeth now, copaiba applied neat is really effective, nice and soothing, and doesn't really have a taste, so it's nice for kids. And then I've used this. A friend of mine had dentistry done, and then the tooth next to the one that was worked on was loose and sore, and she was so scared that she would lose it. And I gave her Panaway to apply on the gum, soothed it so nicely, and in a week everything was feeling good. Her gum was perfectly fine. So I hope that I've covered enough for you to use the stuff. Also, these two used together for migraines, I've heard is really good, and combined with lemongrass for things like sprained ankles. So yeah, use them for pain, and that's all. I'm handing over to Claudine for Ningxia.
Hi. So I just want to quickly chat about the antioxidant drink that Young Living has. It's called Ningxia Red. And Ningxia has more than 300% antioxidants than anything else. So Ningxia has been incredible for my family. And just quickly on the, can I say, the contents in Ningxia, there is in 1 ounce of Ningxia Red has the same antioxidant level as 100 oranges, 22 carrots, 59 broccoli florets, 73 strawberries, 10 pounds of spinach, 93 apples, and 814 blueberries. So I cannot eat that much in like 3 months. So I would rather take my Ningxia. So Ningxia is actually a natural energy booster, and it supports healthy eye function, your immune system, cellular function, circulation, and also emotional stability. So my story with Ningxia, my husband is type 1 diabetic, and I heard somebody said, you know, that Ningxia helps for diabetics, and I thought I needed to try that. So I think about 2 months into us taking the Ningxia, my husband could feel like a big difference in his sugar levels. So Ningxia has actually helped stabilize his blood sugar levels incredibly. And the last time we went to the doctor said that his sugar level has increased, or not increased, like bettered with 1%, which is absolutely incredible for him. And the other thing is that he has been struggling to put on weight for years now. And since taking Ningxia, he's probably put on like 7 kilograms, which is something like that we really wanted to happen. So if anybody was ever wondering about Ningxia and whether you should take it, it's like you should definitely take it because it's absolutely amazing. Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you so much, Claudine. It's an amazing story. I love all these Ningxia stories. There's so many. Thank you everyone for sharing all of your stories. They were all amazing. And I want to just share with those of you who are on the call, if you've never used oils yet and you haven't gotten started with Young Living, there are 3 ways to save money. The first is one of these curated kits for your country are highly discounted. Again, you don't have to start with one of those, but that is for sure the best deal. The second way is that you can join our loyalty program, which is an optional program. But when you buy anything through Young Living, if you buy it through the Essential Rewards program, you get a percentage back of everything you buy. The first 3 months you get 10%, and after that going forward you get 20% back until 2 years, and then you get 25% back. So then you get these points that you can use as cash with Young Living. I know many on this call love their ER points because they can use them to buy all the things that they want. And the third way is that just like everyone in this call who shared their stories, you will become obsessed with these oils. There is some magic power that these plants have. And you're going to tell your friends about them anyway. So when you tell your friends, you'll use your member number that you get with Young Living, and then Young Living will send you a thank you check for being the person to refer your friend or your family to Young Living. So that can be a small amount of people that you refer, or thousands of people, however many you want. So with that, I really appreciate you coming. If you are interested in that third way to save money or make money, really, we have a call this Thursday, same time, same link, this Thursday, that will go through the business opportunity with Young Living, if that is something that interests you, which is, again, always an optional thing, never a requirement. But in this day and age, we're all looking for some side income. Anyway, I hope everyone got all of their questions answered. If you did not, I'm going to stop the recording